how did you all get into doing content? Like, so what made you say, I kind of, I'm an African mom. I'm good at this persona. I want to do this with my daughters because I think it's so cool.
Yeah. How did we start? It was just lockdown. We were just bored.
Really?
Yeah, we were bored during lockdown. The girls already had TikTok. I had TikTok to keep an eye on them, right? So I could watch what they were doing.
Right.
And then, so we were home. I had no work. They had no school. And one day, we were just sitting down. I think the first video was with me and Rachel.
Yeah.
She was watching something on the television, and I was doing something on my phone, and I was making too much noise. And she was like, "Mommy, can you be quiet?" And I was like, "Who are you talking to? You are telling me to be quiet."
But this wasn't a video. This was just
This
you.
was just us. Did you pay for the television that you are watching? Did you pay for the chair? Did you pay for any of this? And then Lizzie was laughing and everything, and we were like, we should make that into a TikTok video. We're like, okay, let's do it. So we did. We just recreated what actually happened, made it into a video, and that video went viral, right? Really good, well on TikTok. And then after that, we decided, okay, this is doing well. Let's start doing more of this African mom skits. Then I did one with Lizzie, with the one where I said, have you washed the pots and the pans? And she said, you didn't ask me to wash any pots. So like, so you want to beat me?
I think the one I saw from you guys was the first one was when your non-African friend comes over. And then she greets me, you're like, and then the African friend, and you're like, my child. Yeah. Oh my gosh. That
Who is your father? Who is your auntie and the uncle and this person?
That was hilarious. So do you guys get recognized now?
Yeah.
Like, especially in African settings?
Well, we don't go to a lot of African settings, but now, like yesterday, we we don't go anywhere. We are so boring. Plus, because we don't live in London, we live in Gloucester, so there isn't that much like African activities and stuff that we can go to. But when we come to London, we get recognized. Like even in Gloucester, we've been recognized just walking down the street, and somebody was like, oh my God, I can't believe you are living in my city. Oh my God. And then we always get really excited. Like we're like, oh, thank you. When they're gone, we're like,
oh my gosh.
Recognize us. Yesterday in London, we were recognized by a group of girls.
And we were sad that we didn't make a TikTok with them. They made a TikTok with us, but we don't know their handles.
Oh no! Well, if you're listening, I don't know if you see my sister, reach out.
If it was yours, reach out to us.
No, I love it, and I don't know. I just think it's cool. Anyway, my mom. I think you're more hip to it because your kids are like, your kids are younger. But if I tell my mom to do a TikTok, maybe in the future, but she'll just, I don't want to do all that. If it's not WhatsApp, I don't know. So, do you feel like doing this with your daughters has caused you all to build a closer bond? Because I just feel like whenever you laugh together, like of course you have that, hey, I'm still mom, show respect, but it's so cool to see how you can have fun with your daughters. So how do you like navigate that? And do you feel like it has brought you closer?
Well, I feel like it's just made us spend more time together. Yeah. Because before most of the time when we were at home, we were just doing homework or watching TV. But this is like an active way to spend time with each other. So I feel like that's definitely made us closer.
I feel like it's fun to also kind of show off my mum, like, hey, this is my mum, and she's so like in with the stuff, and she likes to learn from her kids as well, not only her teaching us, she likes to learn from us as well. So that's also really fun to do.
I like that. What about you? How was it for you? Was it weird at first?
I've always had it in me.
Yeah.
Like I loved, Lizzie takes after me. She loves acting, drama, and all that. I've always loved that from childhood. But obviously, I have Nigerian parents, and you must be a doctor.
Course.
Which one is acting? And stuff. So it's always been there. And then having TikTok and having an opportunity to let out this part of myself, something that I love doing anyway, it was just great. Like there was no pressure. You just make a little 1-minute skit and that's it. And I think for me, because I have to edit the videos, and the girls taught me how to do the editing. Because when I started, I used to just go, Mommy, is this all right? So they taught me, and then now when I edit a video, like, wow, Mommy, you did that so quickly. Wow. I didn't know you could do that. So I learned from them, and I think for them, it made them feel like, oh, okay, we can teach Mommy something now. Mommy's learning something from us, and I think that's one of the things I think parents should do. Let your kids teach you something.
Hey, they'll know you down. Teach me what? This small girl teaching me. I don't know. I feel like it would be cool to do more things. And I'm just loving the new set of African parents that are just like, they're more willing to spend time with their kids. But then I always wonder, like, okay, because you have gentle parenting, right? And so, hey, Bobby, we don't do that. So it's like, how do you find, because I feel like our parents were a little extreme. And then sometimes with the gentle parenting, sometimes, not all of it, but sometimes it's like on two opposite ends of the spectrum. So how do you find that balance, where it's not like, if you cough, I beat you. And then if you, so it's like, how do you find that balance with parenting?
I think a lot of people think parenting is all about stopping your kids from doing things wrong. I think if you start from the beginning by paying your kids attention, spending time with them, listening to them, you'll find that your kids don't misbehave. They make mistakes, right? Because they don't know, right? And if you beat them and shout at them for a mistake that they didn't know, they're kids, right? They're learning. You need to just be calm and say, okay, you don't do that. This is what we do. And usually with my girls, I think I'm blessed, right? It's not been more than once or twice I've had to correct them about something, and they listen, and they hardly ever make that mistake again. There are one or two situations where they did over and over and over again, and then it got to the point that I was like, how many times am I going to say this thing? But then, and also I think you have to discuss with your kids as well. Like, even when they're young, like when I say to them, like, we're not going to be doing this, right? What do you think? And you get them out. Do you understand why I'm telling you that you can't do this? And they say no, then I explain. I was like, do you understand now? And they were like, yeah, I understand, but I don't like it. I was like, you don't have to like it.
You have to understand.
But you understand why. You understand my position. And they understand, And when kids understand, they're more likely to obey.
Yeah.
Whereas the parenting that we get is
beats first.
You do it, they beat you. They don't explain to you why it's wrong. They don't explain to you that this is for your own good that you don't do it. They just beat you. So in the end, you're just like, well, Shebi is beating. It's beating I will get. It's only beating, and then let me just do it. And I'll get the beating. At least
the swelling will go down.
It will go down. But you don't get in the information that you need. And like I've always said to them, like kids aren't born bad. All kids come good, right? Every child comes good. Every child is born good. No kid was born a devil apart from Damien. No kid was born a devil. So all you have to do as a parent is maintain the goodness. Just maintain that goodness. Don't make them switch, because it's the parents that make the kids switch.
It's true. And you know what I'm realizing? So you have the old way of parenting where it's just like, do this, don't do that, and then later on, when the kid grows up, you notice that there isn't, the kid is not really going to the parent to talk about certain things. There's no closeness. And then the parents will be like, you don't talk to me. You don't do this. You don't. But then they're not realizing that you have to build that from when the child is young.
Yes.
You can't dismiss the child every time the child is in the room. And then once they turn 21, now you expect them to come to you with everything. So I think that's where a lot of, but then it's like, okay, where do you have that line where it's like, okay, I'm your parent and I want you to come to me with certain things, but it's not a friendship to where you just tell me every single detail, because something's, it's
why
like,
not?
Hey,
why not? Seriously, why not? Why can't because I get this thing where people say, I'm your mother, not your friend. I'm like, why can't you be their friend?
Okay.
Why can't you be their friend? Because you like when you are in a marriage.
Yes.
You're the lover.
And
you're the friend. Right? Well, you can do both. So why can't you be friend and mother? I think friend and parent.
Because when African parents hear friend, they think
there's going to be disrespect.
Yeah.
But only if you disrespect them. If you respect your kids, they will respect you. That's the problem with African.
They don't let me respect my kids.
No, they don't. Like even just shouting at a child, right? That's disrespect. Like that's a whole human being there. They might not have grown to who they're going to be, but that's a whole human being. That's a whole soul that God has put on this earth. And you are shouting on this person. And for what? Who are you? Yeah. You gave birth to them, and so.
What do you mean? Who am I? I'm Chief Babatunde Olami. Hey God.
And they will shout at it. Like, you wouldn't like someone to shout at you like that. And then I think a lot of parents forget about their own childhood. Like when your parents did it to you, have you forgotten how you felt? Did you like it? You didn't like it. So why are you doing it to your own kids? If your father beat you for something, you beat your son for it. But you didn't like, why are you doing it?
It's
Did it make
tradition,
any
it's
difference?
culture.
It's not
It
culture.
builds character.
That's the problem. This thing has become culture. Like the harsh parenting has become culture for us. So that, like with our videos, and even your people like typical African mother. Yes, African mother. And the other Nigerian artists that depict this African mother thing, where the every little thing slap. Little bit. I'm like, it's now a culture. That's what people recognize in African parents.
Yeah,
and it shouldn't be that.
And it's funny when you see it in a parody, but the truth is, in real life, that's not. Especially when, let's say you get accused for doing something, and then it turns out, and then you get a whooping, you get beats, and it turns out that thing is not. But they don't apologize. There's no apology. No. They don't apologize.
It's happened to me. I was beat. My dad beat me for something because this was back in the day when kids could buy cigarettes from the shops, right? So he sent me to buy cigarettes for his friend. I was like 12. I came back and I gave him the change, and it was less £1, and they thought I'd spent the £1 in the sweet shop, in the shop where I bought the cigarettes. They searched me, no sweets. Where's the £1? I'm like, I didn't even count the change. Like, I don't know where the £1 is. My father beat me with belts. Beat me. I had a big bruise on my arm, right? It was after the beating that me and my brother went and traced our footsteps all the way to the shop and back. Couldn't find the £1 coin. Then he now checked my pockets. Like, I was wearing these dungarees, and the pockets go up. And the £1 coin was stuck up there.
Oh my gosh!
Did my father apologize? What did he do? He bought me blue tack that I've been asking for
What's
weeks.
Blue tack?
Blue tack. It's like how do you explain it? It's like
an adhesive.
It's like an adhesive putty that you put
to
on
wrap
the back
your
of
wound.
something to stick things on the wall or whatever. I've been asking for this blue tack for weeks. He finally gave me blue tack. That was my sorry.
Sorry. So then, how do you two feel with that? Because I'm sure you've seen a lot of the parenting stuff. So I'm sure you're like, wow, I'm blessed to have a mom that's an African mom. Definitely. I'm sure you put your foot down, but at the same time, it's like, listen, she hears you out. It's not like you're just two children that she popped out and now you're just here to do chores and all these things. So how do you all feel about that?
I just feel amazing. Like, my friends will come around to our house and be like, your mom is so amazing. And I'll be like, yeah, I know. Because she just is good in every aspect, and even though she doesn't realize it sometimes, she's just really good at it.
I will give you that £20 later.
I was watching her. I was like, did you pay for this?
Yeah, because we always hear about all the things that happen to our mum as a child, and we're just like, wow, she's just so amazing, or where she's come, and now that we get to have her as a mum, and it's just like, we're so blessed.
Yeah.
And even half the stuff she hasn't told us yet. And she's like, just wait till you're older, and then I'm just gonna explode because there's so much
really
she's gone through
her whole life,
and she's still this amazing human being.
Start crying.
Sorry.
Well, then now let me ask you, what is something? Well, I guess something that you discussed with them already, but something that maybe your parents did besides the one you just told us. But it's like, I don't know, just something pivotal your parents said that is in your memory, like it's burnt in your memory, and you're like, what did they do? Did they have to do this? I have my own story, but I'll let you go first.
I don't know which one will I choose.
No.
I can't even think of one now. Which one will I choose? Which one will I choose? That's when my mother hears, she will not disown me. But okay, I think one of the things was, I was a bit older then, so when I was in Nigeria, because I went back and forth, like I was telling you. So when I started uni, I was in medical school in Nigeria. And so because the education system was just wrought with disruptions all the time, either the lecturers would go on strike or the students would riot over something, and then they shut the unis for like 8 months at a time. My mom was like, I'm fed up of this. Let's just send you back to England and just go back to school in England. I'm like, okay, so what am I going to do? You go back and do medicine when you get there. I'm like, okay, let's apply now to the uni. She said, no need to apply. Just go. When you get there, you apply there, because there's no point wasting time here.
Yeah.
And so at that point, I was thinking, maybe we should wait. But, you do what your parents tell you. And I came to England. And when I got to England, I was like, I'm not doing no medicine no more. And that was it. I was like, because I have to start from scratch. They don't accept anything that you've done previously. You'd have to start from, so I had to start from A levels, right? And I was like, right, I'm going to do A levels, then I'm going to start, doing medicine again. By the time I'll be an old woman. Now, who will marry me again? So that was it. That's when I was like, I'm not going to do medicine. It's too long, right? I'll just do something else. And I did optometry. But till today, sometimes, like, when you're watching Grey's Anatomy, you're like, that could have been
know
me.
it's
you
true.
know, that,
It's true.
that could have been me,
It's
but
true.
my mother, she sends me away. You know, things like that. Obviously, you don't know what would have
Yeah.
happened, but that's one of the things that you always wonder, like, why didn't she just wait now? Why didn't she just listen to what I said? You know, which is why I said it's important to listen.
Yeah, and
To
so
the kids.
with them, right, when it comes to career choices, are you more like, you know, I mean, I'm gonna guess you're more on the hey, do you know what you enjoy, but make sure it's reasonable, or are you still like, you better, we are friends, but I'm me as your friend, go to medical school.
I'm kind of in between, aren't I?
Yeah. I don't think we really made choices that would affect what she would think. But I think right now I'm stuck between two subject choices, and she's helping me choose which one. And I don't think, because obviously she's choosing which one she thinks will be better for me. So and we're both choosing at the same time, and then I just like agree because I'm like, oh yeah, that's true. So it's just both in between,
Because she's chosen business studies to do for GCSEs. And then the school report came out at the end of the year. She had top mark in computer science in the whole year. A whole year, right? I'm like, if you are the top in computer science, maybe you need to change.
Yeah.
Change from business studies to computer science. If you're so good at it, maybe you just do the one that you're good at, because you've not done business studies. You don't know what you're going to be like. You don't know if you're going to enjoy it. So maybe you should change to computer science. So we're still, you know, grappling with that. What's going to happen? Let's speak to some people. So we're dealing with that. Lizzie hasn't decided what she wants to do, so I'm not pushing her. I have done my bit of, are you sure you don't want to be a doctor? I did that. What about dentists? You don't want to? Okay.
I think the two things that I've gotten from what Mummy wants from us is, or for example, before I chose my GCSEs, and I wasn't sure if she would let me, or if I wanted to do drama, I wasn't sure she would let me. And then there was one time that she must have said it as a joke, oh, don't do drama. And then later on she was like, yeah, you can do drama if you want. At the end of the day, it's GCSEs. You still got other things where you'll do different things. And then another thing that I've gotten from what she wants us to do as a career is she wants us to be more successful than her, which is a lot
even
to live up to.
Successful.
Yeah.
Because so it's really hard finding things to do. So I feel like those are the two things that she wants from us. Like, as long as we enjoy it, and then at this stage, we're not at the advanced stage yet, so we shouldn't really have to be worrying about, you know, what we're going to do. And then as long as we enjoy it, and as long as we're more successful than her,
Which
I think every parent wants that.
Yeah.
Every parent wants that.
It's definitely true. I think African parents just have a harsh way of, my thing with them is they tend to cut off someone's wings. You know, they tend to cut off their child's
But they still
wings.
want you to fly.
Yes.
wow.
And I think they just have this path in their mind of what they want you to be. It's kind of like they look at their children as an investment. Like, I brought you into this world. I paid for this.
Pension plan.
Yes. So you go out there, you make me money, you do it the way I want you to do it, so that when I bring you around my mates and my friends, they're praising me, so that I can be, you know, shouting your accolades and all these things.
Yes.
So then when the kid takes a different path, not even a bad path, it's like there's this, you know, they're disappointed because it's like the vision that they had, not even the vision that God had, but the vision that they had, they're just like,
You've ruined their plans.
yeah. And I'm like, I don't know how I feel about my parents. Just they learned to get over it. And I think I'm one of those that the way my mind is set up, I'm like, life is so short. So one day I may be doing this, and the next day I may be like, you know what, I want to go into tech, and then I'm like, you know what, I want to learn how to fly a spaceship. I don't know,
because you're multi-talented. You know, I was telling some friends about yours. Like, she's multi-talented. She does comedy, she does hair, she does MCing, like, and she travels. I'm like, it's like this girl, there's nothing that she doesn't want to do that if she puts her mind to it, she will do it, you know?
Yeah.
And I like watching things. I like my girls to see people like that, to know that you don't have to know. Like, Lizzie doesn't know what she wants to do. I'm like, you don't have to know now. You're only
So young.
15.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the pressure to know what you want to be in the future. It's too much. I was like, you choose your subjects. When you finish, if you change your mind, just go and do something else. Yeah. There's no rush.
I think I see that a lot of people are nowadays, they're breaking free from that whole, I have to be at this one thing for 25 years. You know, I'm seeing friends that they were chefs and they loved it, but then they went into tech and they went into something else. So for me, I'm just like, you know what? There's seasons for everything. So this season I may be doing MC. Next season I'm like I may be hosting for the Oscars. Next season I may want to learn how to fly. Honestly, it's really random, but one of the things I feel like I want to do in this lifetime is just learn how to fly a plane. I know it's completely random. Yeah. I don't even want to work for airlines. I just want to learn how to fly a plane. Yes. So I just may be like, I'm going to enroll in aviation school just to say that I did it. You know? Exactly. It's completely. Don't let my mom hear that one. Good. She will not. Yeah. They don't understand. And I have to remind my mom. I'm like, Mommy, me and you are two different people. They don't get that because in their mind, you're supposed to live out the dreams that they had couldn't. For you. Exactly. That they couldn't. And it's not from a bad place. Yeah. And I think sometimes we give our parents a lot of flack. You'll see, of course, mental health is being talked about, traumas, but I do see a lot of people bashing their parents in a sense like, oh, African American, did this and they don't tell me they love me, and which is not the best. But I think once I just realized that their capacity, like they can only give from like what they have in a sense of, my dad, I think the first time I heard my parents say I love you, I think I was maybe like 17, 18, about to go to university. But then you have to realize this is probably somebody that never heard I love you from their parents from birth to when their parents died. So I feel like if I harp on the parenting style, if I'm using the parenting styles I see now to compare my parents, I'm not going to be happy. And so you have to realize they also show love a different. My mom, I think one of her love languages is gifts. But gifts is not my love language. But all the time, my mom will be buying me, I bought you these shirts from I think you guys call it TK Maxx, call it TJ Maxx. Yeah. I bought you this blouse. See if you like it, and I have to realize. And for me, I'm like, thanks. But my thing is, I want to spend time with you. I want to go to the movies. And so I have to realize that it's not, the emotional intelligence we have now is a little bit more because we have social media, we have all these resources. And so I don't think we should be so harsh on our parents. No. Now, some things, they were just in the wrong, but it's like they could only give from what they had.
Exactly.
And so I feel like if you're just comparing, you're going to be, everything they do, you're not going to be happy. So I just say, it is what it is. Even when they bob my head, good.
I remember that video.
It's funny because I think now when I tell my mom about it or when we talk about it, she's like, I don't, like, you can tell like there's a little bit of regret. Like she's just happy that they didn't call Child Protective Services on her and take her away. And so I'm sure if we could go back, she would do things differently because the truth is that, shaving my head didn't really change me. I just found better ways to do things until I was ready to change.
Yes, exactly.
And so I don't know. That's my thing. But what would you say? So for, I'm nowhere near parenting just now. But what advice would you give young African parents, right? They're about to be parents. What would you say? Okay, you can take this from our culture because this is something that we do that's good, but maybe leave this out and find that balance. Because like I said, there are two extremes.
Yeah. Well, I would definitely say Nigerian parents obviously always want their kids to succeed, right? Yes. For whatever reason, they want their kids to succeed and they know how to push their kids to succeed, right? So I think that we need to keep that because as in America, for example, that the people, the most educated immigrants are Nigerians, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's because our parents push us to succeed. So we need to keep that. It's just the way that we do it that maybe we need to change, right? Okay. So we should still allow the kids to do the things that will make them happy, but we just help them and guide them so that whatever it is not something like, yes, you'll be happy. Like what you want to do, you want to look after you want to be cutting grass. Okay. It's to make you happy. Why don't you own your own company?
Exactly.
Where you can hire people cutting grass and you can join them if you want, but you own your own company. Yes. So you don't knock down their desires and what they want to do. Just teach them how to build on it to be successful in it. Definitely get rid of the corporal punishment. There's no need for beating. I've smacked them once when they were 3 and 4 because they ran into a car park and I wanted
barely smart.
It didn't even hurt, did it? It was really smart, but I wanted something to signal to their brains at that point that this is dangerous, right?
Okay,
that's been it, right? Beating, smacking, it doesn't do anything because if it worked, you would only need to do it once. And then you wouldn't need to do it again. But you keep beating and they're not changing. What's the point? So definitely we need to get rid of that. I don't believe the spare the rod and spoil the child thing. The rod doesn't have to be an actual physical rod. It's just discipline. You need discipline, but you don't actually have to enjoy your child while you're disciplining them.
Yeah. I will say, and I think a lot of where our parents. So you were given the example of cutting grass, right? And I always say, okay, if somebody wants to, they want to go into selling napkins or plastic utensils, an African will be like, why are you doing this? Because they look at title a lot.
Yeah.
But then they forget that, okay, if everybody's a doctor, lawyer, engineer, you go to restaurants, you go to
Someone
buffet,
owns the restaurant.
somebody owns these napkins, because I feel like sometimes our minds are so small, we don't see the big picture. Mm-hmm. So if you guys are doing doctor, lawyer, engineer, okay, cool. Well, in your medical hospital, you guys are having lunch, right? So I'm going to provide the napkins, and I'm going to provide it for all the hospitals in this area. Mm-hmm. And so I wish we could think like, and honestly, I think is really agents have to do a good job of thinking about like the little things that we're not thinking of, and then they just profit off of it. And so I wish our parents would let go of what others think, because I think that is one thing that drives them heavily. And we need to break free from those chains. Now, as human beings, right, you're going to care to a certain degree, right? That's why we bath, we brush our teeth, but I don't think it should drive how you just live life. I was telling my mom, I think we're talking about weddings and stuff, and even the wedding that I'm hosting soon, she was like, oh, you can invite my friends' family. I said, Mommy, I can't invite somebody. I can't invite. I'm just going there to host. I don't know them like that. So you don't invite somebody into somebody else's wedding. She's like, that's not how you do things. Maybe it's because when we used to do I'm like, Mommy, it's not like that. No. And even for me, I told her, listen, you're going to have a certain amount, because I don't want people there. I don't want to look in the crowd and I don't know half of these people. Mm-hmm. And in her mind, she probably thinks I'm really harsh. She thinks I'm like, don't do that. Don't be so cold. You have to invite the community. Okay, but who's paying? Who is paying for all these people? And so it's a thing of, well, I want all my friends, not even friends, but just random people. You want them to see you in a certain way. Yes. It's just
that's the main, like you said, main driving force, and that's everything that they tell you. This. You know who the people are that they want to impress. Yeah, you know who they are, right? And the people that they're trying to impress, like they're doing their own to their kids. Yeah. To try and impress you. And it's just it's like a vicious cycle. It doesn't end, right? Yeah. The moment you think to yourself, right, what's more important? What these people think, or my child's mental health and happiness?
Well, do they care for
they don't care.
They don't care.
We need to take all African parents and take them on a course to teach them about childhood mental health and how trauma affects children, because they don't realize that the trauma that they face in their home causes mental health problems as adults, right? And I can say it, it causes mental health problems. I've seen a girl recently on TikTok, and I shared it with the girls. And I think, did I end up crying after watching that video?
No, you almost did.
I was almost
it led it to a conversation, and then you started crying.
Yeah. So this girl was talking about how her mother got her arrested because her mother hit her, and she hit her mother back. Okay. And this is not a new thing that she gets hit in the house, right? She hit her mother back, and her mother called the police, told the police that she poured hot water on her, she beat her.
African mom?
Yes.
Wow.
Took her to the police station. She had to stay in the police station. Eventually, she was able to come out. She got a lawyer. She came out. Then she told the police that, look, this is what the woman's been doing to me. She showed the scars on her body. The woman didn't have any scars from hot water or anything. Wow. And they realized that actually this girl has been undergoing abuse for a long time at the hands of her parents and her sister, right? And she said, one of the things that struck me that she said is that because of this that she's been going through with her family, when she's in relationships, abusive relationships, she accepts it. Because why? Because her parents tell her, we do this to you because we love you. Wow. So now she thinks that when somebody is abusive towards her, it's love. So her brain has gotten the whole thing wrong, wired wrong. But, kudos to her. She recognizes that, that she recognizes. She says, this is what I've been, my life, I've been abused by different people, and I've accepted it because in my brain is love. So when that girl now grows up and marries a man that beats her and stays in the marriage, it's because she's used to it from home, because, the parents beat you because they love you. So your husband loves you. That's why he's beating you. So they don't realize that this thing goes far beyond you're correcting the child, and the child is not going to turn out better because you have beat them or you have been harsh with them. And way beyond.
Sometimes it's just they try to save face so much, and that's what causes so many people to lose their children. You want to save face, you don't, your daughter is being given basbos, beating left and right, but because you don't want anybody to talk You don't want that shame. So she stays in that marriage. And, you know, God forbid. Another thing too that we deal with is just as pride is a big thing. That's another. I said, God, break the shackles of pride. You reminded me of a story that I saw on TikTok. The girl, Nigerian girl, she was talking about how her mom. So when they were growing up, you know, they didn't really have much. It was her and her brother, and so even in the pantry, like they really wouldn't. They would wait to go to school to eat because there just wasn't that much, you know, in there to eat. And so the teachers took notice of that, and they noticed, like, man, these kids are, you know, they're really skinny. And so the teachers, I think they would ask her like, oh, you know, hey, so what do you eat when you're at home? And she'll just, you know, name these little things. Maybe sometimes she'll skip a meal. So the teachers put money together and they bought like a cart full of groceries to go give to her. So they took it to her, you know, her mom's house, and they presented it to her like, oh, you know, we just heard that, you know, you guys, you know, the food was kind of lacking. And when I wasn't sure how the story was gonna go because I was like, okay, this is a nice gesture. But I heard Nigerian mom earlier. They said the mom told them they need to get out. She said all this food, she's gonna throw it out. If they leave it, take their food. She doesn't want it. They ended up leaving the food outside. You know that this girl said her mom literally threw out all this food, knowing that she needed it, knowing that they didn't have food in the pantry, threw it out and beat them.
Yeah.
Because of pride, because how dare you go and tell these people what we're going through, but you don't have food in the pantry. And so she said that what ended up happening was the mom would actually just buy food to keep in the pantry in case like one of the Child Protective Service people come so that, you know, they can see.
Wow.
And sometimes stuff they would eat will just be kind of like close to expiration, or they just didn't like it, so they didn't eat it. But it's just like, wow, pride will cause us to do these things. So I feel like we can do better.
Definitely.
Hopefully. I hope we don't stick to all these cultural things and just make it the death of us. I don't know. What are your thoughts? I think we can. I think you guys are lucky. Very, very lucky.
Yeah, definitely.
And you know, honestly, not all of our parents are bad. Not all of our parents are bad. They're humans, and sometimes we forget that they're humans. Because they also forget to show us that they're humans. Yeah. It's always this, you know.
That's right. That's very true.
We don't see them as humans. We just see them, that's our parents. They have their moments too. You know, we may not see it, but, you know, they have moments where they cry and they're feeling discouraged and depressed. And maybe they're anxious because they feel like they don't have enough. But we don't really get to see that. We don't see them. I think I've only seen my dad cry like once or twice. But, you know, it could just be him being a man and then an African man on top of that. And so I don't know.
It's
hopefully,
important for them to see you being, you know, human, like you said, human and vulnerable. There was a time when they were younger that I would never let them see me cry, never let them see me upset. I was always happy. Wow. Then they got to an age where I thought to myself, actually, I'm going to bring girls up thinking that life is always happy.
And then when something happens,
they won't know how to react when something happens. So I got to a point where I would let them see me cry. Like before, I wouldn't cry during the day. It was when they go to bed. Now. But then if the tears were coming, I would let them see the tears. I would let them see me cry. And I think it just made them the most kind and, you know, they're just so loving, and they will mommy and they will hug and they will. And I remember one day, I remember one day when Lizzie was 3 and I was just sitting there and I just looked sad, and she came up to me. She said, "Mommy, don't worry, Jesus loves you."
What?
I know. And I was like, where did she hear this from? Like, she's 3 years old.
Wow.
Like, where did she hear? I've never said those words like that in that way to her. It must have been inspiration because I needed to hear that at that time. And she just came out and she said it. And then she gave me a hug and she went on. You know? And that was it.
Right, honor my snacks.
Honestly. But, you know, so I was like, let them see you cry. Let them see you be human. Let them see you make mistakes. Right? Let them see you make mistakes so that they know that you're not perfect, right? But for you to allow your kids to see you make mistakes, you have to be able to not shout at them every time they make a mistake. You know? And when you're able to do that, you get this mutual respect between the two of you, because you know that, well, I can tell mommy, even if I was wrong, you know, she'll understand. She'll be able to help me with this. You know, they won't be afraid that I'm going to be punished now. Yeah. If I say this, I'm going to be punished if I say that, you know. So, it's communication.
And I love it because, you know, some, I think when I was in Colombia, I was going on this excursion and I saw this guy. He actually referred to his mom by her first name, which I don't know if I can do that one. You can tell that they were on that basis, but I feel like the difference between that and your daughters is you can still tell that, although you guys have a strong bond, there's still that respect factor. And they're not going to, you're like, oh, bite me, mom, or shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. Do this TikTok video and get out of my room. Yes. Yeah. And it's good to know that. It's good to have that boundary. And I feel like that's what a lot of African parents, they feel like if you try to be friends, they'll be calling you by your first name. They'll be telling you, shut up, old man, what are you talking about? You don't know what they're doing.
But I don't do that to them. I don't tell them, shut up. Do you know what I mean? If you're teaching them that it's rude to say shut up, then why are you saying it to them? I don't say shut up, get out of it. I don't do.
But sometimes you cannot.
I might tell them, okay, please. I don't know. Or in jest, but not when I'm being serious and I'm correcting them about something. Yeah. I don't do it now. Shut up! What are you saying? What? No.
Useless. You don't know anything. But then you say, go and be doctor. You just saw them. You don't know anything. Yeah. Hey God. Even with the way I have a little brother, he's 15, and so with the way I deal with him, I'm just like, okay, we have to have a lot of talks, and I'm like, okay, I'm telling you to do this. I'll tell you maybe one more time. The last time there are consequences, so you don't play that game, boy. Because I mean, he's 15, his voice is deep. I'm not doing it, and then plus I'm not a parent, and I told my parents, listen, all this, I'll pick him up from school maybe once or twice, but I don't want to go into that role prematurely, because you do have that especially first immigrant daughter, where they take on that role. So I did set that boundary with my parents in a respectful way, like, mommy, I'm not a parent. Even when my brother said, hey, can I go? I said, ask your parents. It's not me. Yeah, I'm no child has passed through my womb. So I'm big sis, and yes, I want to help him with certain things. But it honestly helps me to see, okay, how would I be with the teenage son and with the teenager? So it definitely helps. But at the same time, I say, please, I beg, I never bump again. So you should just leave me be. Leave me be.
Enjoy my life.
Yes. But no, thank you so much for being here. We didn't even do an introduction. So please, I want you to we are just gisting. Yeah. Tell them who you are. I'm sure they know who you are. And then we'll close out. But yes.
My name is Celia. I am mother to Lizzie and Rachel, and we do TikTok videos. Yes. Celia Talks Family, and we do the African Mother skits, and where I'm always traumatizing my daughter.
I like your mumu. That blue, is it blue? It's
and I think just trying to make light of the culture of the harsh African parents, but hoping that somehow it will bring light to how we need to change. This culture of harsh parenting in the African household needs to change, and I think a lot of people are getting the message. I've seen a few people saying, me too, I do this, I need to change.
It's true.
So hopefully we can stop having this as a culture. We don't want that as a culture. We want our African parenting, the love, the part of the parenting where there's love.
Yeah,
there's so much. We want that to show more than the harshness that we see.
Yeah. What about you guys?
Oh, my name is Lizzie, and Celia's my mummy, I guess. Yeah.
That's it.
I'm Rachel, and I'm 14, and I'm the last child, the second child. And most people don't even know that I exist, because
you two look so much alike.
Most of the time I'm not on the camera and I'm behind the camera.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Director. You never know.
No, Mummy's still the director.
Yeah.
Okay. Or
crew. I'm just there.
Producer or something. Y'all do something. Yeah. So get your credits. But no, that is amazing. And it's spell it for us, because some people they can't spell. So spell Celia Talks.
Celia, CELIATOKS.
Yes.
Celia Talks Family.
Thank you all. You guys have inspired
me.
Thank you. I'll practice your parenting on my dog first, and then see how it goes. Then I'll translate it to when I have children. But thank you all so much. You guys were awesome.
Thank you for having us. Thank you so much. This was fun. Thank you.